What up, though? Yo. I just want to start off by thanking everybody for sending all the DMs. I've been getting your text messages, your emails, and your phone calls. Yo, I really appreciate the encouragement, man, and the love is just coming from all directions. And you know, I'm so very thankful. This week, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my heart, man. I feel like it's right on time, man, with what's going on and what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And it's, do you know how to uphold yourself? Can you uphold yourself? Shouts out to Glen Mills School for Boys for training me on how to uphold myself. You feel me? It's a Glen Mills thing. You have to be at the Mills to know, but for those who don't know, what I mean by do you have the ability to uphold yourself is, you know, when somebody is trying to piss you off, can you uphold yourself? When somebody is saying or doing things to get a reaction out of you, to get under your skin, can you handle yourself? When you're being treated unfairly and you know it, do you have the ability to express yourself in a civilized manner? That's what I mean by can you uphold yourself? So real quick, I'm gonna share a quick story with y'all. Of course, you know I work in fine dining, you know, and it was my goal to get in fine dining, and I didn't realize some of the things that I would have to go through besides knowing all of this information. And that's having the ability to uphold yourself and being able to deal with people. So real quick, I had a 3-top come in one day, a 3-top table, and 2 guys came and they were waiting on a third. Now these 2 guys, I'm gonna say they were in their mid to late 30s. The guy who made the reservation, his name was Tom something. The other guy, I found out his name real quick, his name was Mark. So we got Tom and we got Mark, and they're waiting on Steve. That's who they're waiting on. So Steve gets there, and Steve is like, I'm gonna say in his late 50s, possibly early 60s. But as soon as Steve came, I seen Steve taking off his jacket, so I ran up to him and I helped him, I assisted him with taking off his jacket, and he was like, he didn't know what was going on. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, I was just, you know, trying to help you take your jacket off. I'm like, do you mind if I put it on the back of your chair? He's like, put it over there. I'm like, oh, okay, put it right over there. Welcome, my name is Alvin. Mr. Steve, man, it's so glad to have you. He like, Steve? My name is Mr. Johnson. Please forgive me, Mr. Johnson. I'm so very sorry. My name is Alvin. I'll be taking great care of you guys. Can I get you started with a glass of Chardonnay or a sweet tea? Sweet tea! I'm like, okay, would you like simple syrup or would you care for the sugar packets? He's like, bring me the sugar packets. Immediately, I hook him up. You know, I'm upholding myself. I come back to the table. Would you guys like some time? Would you care to hear about off-menu selections? Can you bring us some bread? Absolutely, Mr. Johnson. I'll be right back with the bread. You know, I get on the bread, I come back, I'm smiling, I'm doing my thing. I do the features for them. I ask them what they like to hear about the features. Boom, I did the features, killed it. You know what I'm saying? I gave them some time. So I came back, I said, were you gentlemen about ready to order, or would you like a bit more time? Oh, we're ready. Okay, Mr. Tom, may I begin with you? Boom, he give me his order, I write it down. Okay, how about you, Mr. Mark? He's like, oh, boom, I get his order. Now they eyes raising because I'm calling them by their name. And lastly, for you, Mr. Johnson, what can I get for you? Boom, boom, get his order, come back, put it in. So I'm making it a point to take care of these guys, like especially Mr. Johnson. Like I don't want him to have no reason to say something was wrong with his service or whatever. So when his glass get half full of water, I'm on him. When he needs some more tea, I'm on him. I'm doing everything possible to make sure that their dining goes well. So finally I come back to the table and Mr. Johnson, he's like, the whole time he tight his face, you could just tell by his nonverbals, like he really doesn't want me there. You feel me? And I'm in the back, like I had to go in the back to get myself together. I'm like, yo, tighten up, Vino, like you got one right here. So I come back to the table and Mr. Johnson, he like, hey, how do you know everybody's name? And I was like, well, I make it a point to get to know all of our very important guests. And since Mr. Johnson here is the most charming individual, you guys fall into that category as well. And Mr. Johnson was like, but you still didn't tell us. I said, with all due respect, a magician never reveals the secret to his magic. He was like, so you're not gonna tell us? I was like, is there anything else I could do for you, Mr. Johnson? It's like, oh, the manager probably told him my name. So anyway, I keep doing my thing. I'm handling my other tables and whatnot. And the manager came up to me. He like, yo, what did you say to them? I was like, man, that guy, Mr. Johnson, like he's a jerk, man. He's a super jerk. He like, yeah, he asked me, did I tell you their names? And I told him like, nah, like Alvin, that's just what he does, man. He's one of the best servers I have here, if not the best server. I was like, man, I appreciate that. Cause I'm like, when I get away from the table, like my whole demeanor changes, you know, but when I get to the table, I'm upholding myself. So finally, man, these guys left, man. And I had a sigh of relief. I'm like, man, cause I was going through something that ain't had nothing to do with work. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I know it's like, we're gonna get through this day, Vino. We're gonna get through this day. Fast forward, 18 months later, I'm outside working on the patio, and I'm walking in with a whole bunch of dishes, and guess who I see? Steve Johnson. And in my mind, I'm like, please, she walking him outside. I'm like, please don't sit him in my section. Please don't sit him in my section. Like, I ain't got time for this today, man. Like, it's another one of them days, a rough day. So I'm like, man, I hope she don't. But we made eye contact, and I smiled at him, and he smiled at me. And I went on in, you know, put the dishes up, and I came out like, all right, if he is your table, like, you know what to do. You know what to do. So I come outside, and as I'm walking down the stairs, Mr. Johnson, he's sitting at the table by himself, so he's waiting on some other guests. And something happened, man. I walked up to the table, and Mr. Johnson got up out his seat, smiling, and reached out to shake my hand. And he was like, it's so good to see you, Alvin. Oh my, please tell me you're my server. Please tell me you're my server. And I'm like, it's so good to see you as well, Steve. Excuse me, Mr. Johnson. No. Call me Steve. Please call me Steve. I'm like, okay, Mr. Steve. He's like, my mom, it's her 95th birthday, and I really would love for you to be my server. Please tell me you're my server. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Mr. Steve, man. This is my section over here. This is another lady's section, and if I take this table, she gonna get mad. She's gonna think I'm taking all of her money. So she's gonna take excellent care of you, and I'm right over here. I'm definitely gonna make sure you're well taken care of, okay? He's like, okay, please stop by. I would love for you to meet my mom, please. I'm like, absolutely, I would definitely be over here to meet your mom, okay? I went back in the restaurant, y'all, and man, I ain't gonna even hold you up. I shed a little tear, man, cause I'm like, God, what are you doing? And I feel like he just put it on my heart. He said, you know what you did to him? You know, you didn't even know what you did to him, but you put hot coals on his head. You know, maybe when he left, Tom and Mark was like, yo, he handled you, man. He handled you. Like, that dude is the best. Like, that dude is the best server in here. And like, if I would not have handled myself, like, man, I don't know what would have happened, man. I see so many other servers, you know, they get broke at the table, man. They let these guests get under their skin. They be like, yo, I ain't going back to the table. I'm not going back. Or they'll get another server. And it's like, nah, I'm here, man. I'm here. And you know what? During this time, I get so many dirty looks when I walk to the table. Yo, I had a table last night. They came in. They all smiling and hee ha ha in love, and you know what I'm saying, got the googly eyes. As soon as I walk to the table, they like this. And I'm like, good evening, welcome, and they, happy anniversary. Can I get you started with a drink? He like, give me a martini. She like, give me this drink. I come back, bring them the drinks, and they like, yo, you could just bring us the check. Absolutely, I have the check already ready for you, sir. Hope y'all have a happy anniversary. You gotta be able to handle yourself, man. You gotta know who you are. You feel me? Because when people want to get under your skin, when people piss you off, you know what? They be like, I got him. You feel me? And during this time, it's not even about being in a restaurant. You gotta know how to handle yourself in your community. You gotta know how to handle yourself when you in school, especially on your job. You feel what I'm saying? You should be able to handle yourself. And you know what? I'm not perfect. Sometimes I fall short. It's been a lot of times where I dropped the ball. You feel me? But I just learned the importance of being able to handle yourself. So do you have the ability to uphold yourself? I hope so. Something you need to work on. Something I'm working on every day. Thank you for listening.